Item Z is in zebra, approval of change order number 7 for Swinnerton Builders.
I move.
Can I have a comment on this? I know we've talked about.
I second.
I'm
You have
sorry.
to have a
So
first
we
and
have
second to comment.
We have
I'm
a
sorry.
motion from Ms. Ramos and we have a second from Ms. Pisano, but just to bring some clarity on funding and where it goes and how this is all itemized. And I could just say that I recall serving on Hawthorne School Board and the war was going on and the price of steel went up, for example. So all of this clarification really helps to understand, you know, what we're doing and so forth, because it's just as educational for the board members when we walk through the buildings and see all the various trades and so forth, which I have done so recently. Mr. Clem?
And it's on GA66 and GA67 of the agenda.
And 68.
And 68.
So, thank you, board. Couple things I wanted to mention up front. We budget for change orders, as I've mentioned pretty much every time I get up here. New construction projects, publicly bid, public construction code, 3 to 5% change orders, standard in the industry. We budgeted 4%. The 3 projects we're building currently total $100 million in construction contracts, none of which, by the way, are being handled by Teleco. There's a Swinnerton contract, there's a McCarthy contract, and there's a Turner contract. 3 of the largest construction companies building schools in the nation. Turner just completed a Guinness Book of World Record concrete pour in downtown LA. I mean, these are major contractors. They competed hard for these jobs. There were 6 bidders on every job. The final negotiated price with the low bidder was lower than the low submitted price from each bidder, to the tune of anywhere from $500,000 to $1.2 million, lower than the lowest bid that we received on bid day. Of the $4 million that we set aside for change orders on these jobs, we've committed $1.8 million to date. $1 million, a little bit over $1 million of that is for the district requested change after the Sandy Hook issue came up, to have automatic lockdowns in the classrooms, additional security cameras which are not being placed by anybody except the security consultant for the district, intrusion detection in all the classrooms, electronic locks in all the classrooms. That's $1 million of the $1.8 million. $150,000 of the change orders to date have been for the electric charging stations, which is part of the environmental upgrades that the district is putting in at each of the sites. It's a little bit more than $150,000 total there. There are several $100,000 to date spent in removing bad soil, particularly at the Lawndale site, and that number is still going up. The number tonight for Swinnerton, $400,000 for the Brevo. That number was submitted by the contractor at $795,000. The staff on site have spent 4 months negotiating this number to get the price from almost $800,000 down to $400,000, which is going into the change order. There are some additional storm drains on the Somerville property. There is an added relief vent in the elevator shaft. That just means when the elevator goes up, it lets the air out. And there is power to the elevator. There was one of the elevators at Lawndale there was no power shown on the plan. So in the bid day, there was no price included in the bid for power to the elevator. So that's the Swinnerton item.
So if we were to do the change orders, would that cause a safety issue to the students? If we were to not do change orders, would that cause safety issues for our students, for our buildings?
Well, if you didn't do change orders, we wouldn't get the buildings complete. These are change orders that are a combination of unforeseen condition, site, district requested upgrades, and plan omissions from bid date. None of which were anticipated in anything beyond the budget stage. But all of them were anticipated to be part of our budget. When we put the budget together back in 2010, these numbers were all included, and all three of these projects ultimately will be under budget.
I have a question, Mr. President. Mr. John Clem, so you mentioned that the change orders are budgeted for each site, right?
Yes.
Are we still under budget for the change orders?
Yes. Again, we budgeted $4 million across the 4 sites, about $1.3 million per site. We have spent on the So $500,000 has been spent on the Turner contract, or on the Swinnerton contract, and hang on, that's the McCarthy contract.
The first one that we're on is the McCarthy contract, which is with Copper High School.
I thought the first one was the Swinnerton contract. Yes. I'm talking about the wrong school if it's the McCarthy contract.
We're on item C, Swinnerton Builders.
Yeah, okay.
So it's in here.
We have several on here, but we're looking at C.
So the Swinnerton contract, including this change order, is $600,000 in change orders today, against $1.3 million budgeted, and the job is 80% complete.
Thank you.
I'll take one.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Item AA, approval of change order number 12 for McCarthy Building Companies. Is there a motion?
I move.
Motion, Ms. Ramos. I'll second. All in favor, please state aye.
I want discussion as
Comment,
well.
discussion?
Yeah, what, go over the line.
Back to discussion for item AA, number 12 for McCarthy Building Companies.
It's usually redundancy, but just need to do that. Transparency.
All right, questions or just general comments?
Just a general of, not comments, of if you're breaking down a reason, the purpose for the McCarthy building companies, although we do have it in front of us, it was agendized, it was put in there. Unlike the contracts, it was put in there.
Yeah, and so we're trying to get all of the change orders that have been on the table negotiated so that we know the final numbers for the contracts. Some of these have been out there for a while, some of them are newer items. The way change orders happen, something comes up either through a request for information, a construction directive from the architect, a request for information is generated by the contractor, a construction directive is generated by the architect that comes up with a change in cost to the contractor. They submit a proposed change order, at which time we start negotiating, validating the labor rate. So we spend months and months with each different trade going back and forth, arriving at approved labor rates. And then from there, we add up the material costs and the labor costs, and the contract dictates how much they get for their fee, how much they get for their bonds and insurance, and that's how we come up with the final number.
The item 1, neutralization tank, sampling tank, and traffic rated structure, what is that?
So that's the acid waste that comes out of the science lab.
Okay.
has to go into a special tank that neutralizes the acids from the test room. And it was originally going to be on the sidewalk or in the planter area, and it got moved into the parking lot area. So it had to change from a non-traffic rated structure to a traffic rated structure.
Another one of the expensive items is a redesigned compression strut connection for ceiling canopies.
So, if you remember the new buildings at Hawthorne have a lot of open ceilings, and in the open ceilings where they have flat panels that are suspended, they're called clouds. Where they have curved panels, they're called canopies. Always struck me as odd, but DSA determined that these panels, which are very, very light, have to have the same compression struts for seismic that a T-bar ceiling does. So every 12 square feet, we had to come up with a design for a strut that would mount to the back of this fiber panel, mount to the ceiling, and keep the panel falling in an earthquake.
Another item is additional power and data to Building F. What is Building F?
Building F is the 3-classroom building between Building D and the engineering building. And it was designed originally to be a standard classroom, and the district wanted to upgrade that to all computer labs. So there wasn't enough power or data in the building to support 30 computers in each of the classrooms. So this is just additional electric and data requirements.
Thank you.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0 on item AA on page 10. Moving on to...
Excuse me. You guys see you're getting buffalo here. Is it not reasonable to expect a contractor to have electrical going to a elevator? Is it just me? When you have computers in classrooms and you have it set up for maybe 30 students, wouldn't you have the contractor expect or budget to have electrical lines going in that can handle 30 computers?
Sir, we can answer this question, but usually this is out of our protocol. I don't know if you want to address that.
I don't know. I just want to go on.
You get my point.
Yes, sir.
You guys are being asked for a full to accept all this stuff. You might want to stand up and say, you know what, that doesn't make sense. We're not going to do it.
Yeah, I see your point, but there are other things that haven't been acknowledged as well. I know you've given back to the district when students have been in need, and I did attend an event where parents and kids that were being flown out to New York, you paid for all the dinners. Do you still have that commitment to give back to the district? Is the question. I'm sure you have been, but I just wanted the public to note that although you are a business and you're doing the work that you do, you're reinvesting it back in the schools. And also you have an Ed Foundation.
Yeah, and not to spend this time having a Teleco commercial, but as long as you offer,
I
would
just
take
wanted
the
to
opportunity.
make a point, just so the audience understands the other side of it.
So Teleco Construction Management is a wholly owned subsidiary of a not-for-profit community development corporation. We're in business solely to provide income stream for our not-for-profit, which sends at-risk youth to college and starts preparing at-risk youth to go to college as early as middle school. And we have over 2,100 kids in our at-risk youth program. We have, notwithstanding some of the comments some of your people made today, we have 99% graduation rate at college of our students that we support, some of whom have been Centinela Valley students that have gone through our education program. And we have 4,500 units of affordable housing that we built, 2 projects of which are in Hawthorne that have been here since 1987 that are for very low income seniors, some of whom at the time they move into our units have never lived in a brand new apartment in their life. So we're not in the real estate business to make money. We're in the real estate business to provide housing for at-risk seniors and very low-income seniors. And that's what our company does. And we've been supporting Centinela. As somebody said, we supported the parcel tax. Absolutely. How much of that money goes for construction? Not 1 penny. So, you know, and how much of the bond money, by the way, can go for teacher's salary? Not 1 penny. The amount of misinformation that's being bandied around this room is unbelievable, because the money from the general obligation bonds can only be used for construction, can't be used for administrator salaries, can't be used for other things, can be used for buildings. And that's where it's used. And this has been as competitive a program as any program that's been run that I've ever been involved in. I've been in this business for 40 years. And you know what? You know, you bought your construction because of the rapid way that we got these plans approved at the lowest possible price for construction that has been going in California in 30 years.
Did you not volunteer before being hired into Centinela Valley for years before actually getting a penny or a dime from Centinela?
Yeah, I mean, we advised the district on some of the projects that they were stuck with way before we ever were asked to submit a proposal. And we were asked to submit a proposal long before Superintendent Fernandez ever became Superintendent Fernandez.
If there's a change order, how much money does Telecu make?
Telecu doesn't make a penny on change orders.
If there's more money that's charged, does your salary go up?
Not a penny.
And who pays you? Does Centinela pay you or does Telecu pay you?
I get paid by Telecu.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. Item BB, page 11.
I move.
A motion by Ms. Ramos. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Item CC, approval of Measure CV Bond Building Fund Annual Audit Report, fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013. Motion, is there a second?
I second, however, I do have a comment.
Second, Ms. Ramos with a comment.
We have an audit, and were the gentlemen of Dominguez here, Levitt and Wilson?
No,
Okay.
they presented their audit report to the Citizen Oversight Committee.
Okay. What the answer was, they presented their. Go ahead.
The district auditors presented their audit report to the Citizen Oversight Committee, to the Bond Citizen Oversight Committee.
And we will get those results. Do we get those results as board members?
My understanding is it was emailed to you. If not, we can get it to you.
Will those results, because it's an audit, be made public?
Yes.
Thank
It's
you.
actually, I believe it's already on the website.
Perfect.
No, that's
I saw it. I'm just asking. I'm sorry. Let me be more clear. I'm asking that as due diligence for the public. So thank you. Yes, I did receive a copy in the agenda, so I apologize if that sounded confusing. Again, it was just due diligence, and it is on the website. Okay. Thank you.
yes.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Item CC1, approval of 2013-2014 annual report of the Measure CV Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor?
Ms. Pisano.
Thank you. Correction, Ms. Pisano. You guys sound alike sometimes. I'm sorry.